Come for the fan service and stay for the awesome gameplay. And the fan service. The best games have eye-popping visuals and are fun to play. So I've scoured through hundreds of fan service heavy games, for research, to bring you 15 of the best games that are bursting with awesome gameplay and great fan service. I've left links to any full reviews just below the like button, but for now, let's dive in. Kicking things off with not only a character action game icon, but one of the best examples of great fan service and gameplay, with Bayonetta. Platinum Games is well known for their awesome over-the-top action titles, like Vanquish, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and of course, Nier Automata, and Bayonetta is no exception. The 3 games in the series tell the story of Bayonetta, a modern-day witch with a mysterious past, as she battles all manner of angelic and demonic forces, in a narrative as over-the-top and bombastic as the set pieces, filled with humor, intrigue, and memorable characters. And the standout, of course, is Bayonetta herself, absolutely owning every scene. Her give-no-shits attitude and sexy design go hand in hand, with insane moves and suggestive poses, looking like your mom while on the clock. Bayonetta's empowered by her sexuality, flaunting it as a symbol of her strength, rather than being objectified by it. And this confident tone extends to the incredible gameplay. At the heart of the series lies its fast-paced and responsive combat system, with intricate combos, seamless switching between weapons, and abilities like Witch Time, which slows down enemies upon a well-timed dodge. This system is fast, fluid, and flashy, and is the very definition of easy to pick up, but difficult to master. True to Platinum's pedigree, the combat looks great and feels better. Even when picking it up for the first time, you feel like a total badass, but it gets better as you play. Since its debut, Bayonetta has received widespread acclaim, though due to Platinum's financial struggles, the series almost died. That is, until Nintendo swooped in to save it, turning it into a Nintendo exclusive, with the latest entry, Bayonetta 3, only coming out on Switch. Still blows my mind that Nintendo, of all companies, grabbed Bayonetta. And even more, that not only didn't they tone down the sex and violence, they encouraged Platinum to double down, with alternate costumes for Bayonetta from Nintendo franchises. While I'm definitely happy that Bayonetta lives on, it's clear the age of the Switch hardware is starting to hold back the series. So I'm holding out hope we get another entry on more powerful hardware. I love introducing you to awesome games that not enough people know about. Bloody Spell is one of those games. One part hack and slash and one part, physics simulator? You play as a warrior who sets out on a quest to rescue your sister from a demonic clan. It's a mostly throwaway story that serves as a backdrop for intense combat. And the combat really is the star of the game. Bloody Spell is bursting at the seams with fast-paced, combo-driven battles as you mow down all sorts of monsters and enemies, from spider women to ravenous dogs, or big brutes all thirsting for your face. Combos, parries, dodging, and blocking all feel satisfying and punchy. Couple that with the bloody spells that unlock as you progress. These powerful spells can absolutely wreck enemies, especially when you level them up. And that's on top of the deep well of weapons and equipment. Each weapon type has unique movesets and combos that you'll continue to unlock as you play. This alone makes for a solid experience, but the costumes take it to another level. The team at
Yi Long Yu Shi
ain't messing around. Each outfit is more over the top than the last, with a lot of care and creativity that's gone into each design. Whoa, is that even legal? While there's a ton of DLC costumes, you can unlock quite a few without spending any additional money, though I couldn't help myself. Visually, the game's impressive, boasting detailed environments and character models. However, some textures and close-up details may not feel current gen, and the menus are, well, they're pretty damn ugly. but you'll hardly care when the rest of the game is so freaking awesome. Bloody Spell offers a satisfying hack-and-slash experience, with engaging combat and a variety of customization options. Its blend of martial arts action and fantasy elements make for a bloody good time. Up next is Catherine, developed by Sega and Atlas. Originally released in 2011, with a remaster titled Catherine Full Body that released in 2019. There's nothing else quite like Catherine, with its unique blend of social simulation and challenging puzzles that delves into complex themes. The game follows Vincent Brooks, a 32-year-old man at a crossroads with his longtime girlfriend Catherine, spelled with a K, and the consequences of his actions, particularly after an unexpected affair with Catherine, spelled with a C. In Full Body, there's a third freaking Catherine, this time spelled with a Q. Yeah. This narrative setup allows you to explore Vincent's psyche, his relationships, and the moral dilemmas he faces. The gameplay is divided into two primary segments: daytime social interactions and nighttime puzzle sequences. During the day, you engage in conversations, respond to text messages, and make choices that influence the story's direction, shaping Vincent's moral alignment. At night, Vincent's nightmares manifest as intricate block climbing puzzles, where you have to think strategically to navigate collapsing towers, and evade symbolic manifestations of his fears. I'm generally not a huge fan of puzzles. I don't like to get stumped or feel stupid, which is easy enough to do. But that wasn't my experience with the puzzles in Catherine. They're challenging, rewarding, and totally distinct, requiring quick thinking and adaptability without feeling unfair or overly obtuse. The game's atmosphere is brought to life by the distinctive art style and evocative soundtrack, creating an immersive experience that captivates with every scene. The addition of the third Catherine in Full Body introduces new narrative pathways, offering fresh perspectives and replayability. Catherine stands out for its mature storytelling, complex characters, and innovative gameplay mechanics, providing a thought-provoking experience that challenges both your skills and your beliefs.
If you please.
Every game in this video has a balance of great fan service and gameplay, but in AKIBA'S Trip, Undead, and Undressed, the fan service is the gameplay. Developed by Acquire and originally released in 2013, AKIBA'S Trip, Undead, and Undressed is the sequel to the original AKIBA'S Trip, a series that's freaking nuts in the best possible way. It's an action-adventure game that's one part visual novel and one part beat-em-up / de-pantsing simulator. Set in Tokyo's Akihabara district, which is essentially nerd mecca, you play as Nanashi, an unemployed otaku who, after a sketchy-as-hell job offer, is transformed into a synthester, a vampire-like being that feeds on human energy. After being rescued by a group of freedom fighters, you set out to uncover a conspiracy and cleanse Akihabara of the synthester menace. As the narrative unfolds, you'll make dialogue choices that influence relationships with various characters, leading to one of 8 possible endings. The writing's sharp and funny, with a genuine portrayal of otaku culture, even if it's a bit predictable. However, the gameplay is anything but, centering on combat where you target enemies' clothing to rip them off, exposing them to the sun and letting it take care of the rest. When not stripping enemies down to their skivvies, you can explore Akihabara's districts, check out over 130 real-life shops, and undertake side quests. Just be aware the map's a bit smaller than you might be used to. Customization plays a big part in the gameplay, allowing you to modify clothing, walking styles, all sorts of wacky weapons, and even stripping techniques. But since the game's designed around replayability, many options only unlock in subsequent playthroughs. Now, the visuals definitely aren't the draw. It looked pretty rough even at the time, and while a remaster was released in 2023, don't expect this to look cutting edge. Though the characters have enough personality and the gameplay is so bananas, it hardly matters. AKIBA'S trip Undead and Undressed is a quirky and satirical take on otaku culture, with its unique stripping combat mechanic and quirky charm. It's a title that caters to fans of niche Japanese games, and those interested in a lighthearted, unconventional adventure. While the visuals in the last game weren't much to write home about, the visuals in Vanillaware games are often talked about just as much as the gameplay. And that holds true with Dragon's Crown from 2013, a wildly entertaining throwback to classic beat-em-ups with a few twists. You select from 6 characters, each embodying classic fantasy archetypes, on a quest to obtain the Dragon's Crown and prevent chaos. Yeah, it's simple, but the narrative adds enough depth to transform the otherwise by-the-numbers fantasy story into something more captivating. And it's brought to life by Vanillaware's incredible 2D art style, each frame looking like it leapt from the pages of a fantasy book. The characters are all exaggerated and larger than life, with some things larger than others. But the gameplay is where Dragon's Crown truly shines. Combat is a dynamic and chaotic hack-and-slash affair, with enemies attacking from all directions. Each class offers unique skills that can be upgraded, encouraging replayability. Unlike more traditional beat-em-ups, Dragon's Crown has some RPG elements, with character progression and new gear that you find or buy. As characters level up, you can allocate skill points in the main hub, which also offers quests for experience and bonuses, item appraisal, resurrection services, and rune purchases to enhance magic. And for me, one of the best parts is the co-op multiplayer, supporting up to 4 players online or locally, and it's just a blast taking down waves of baddies or hulking bosses with your friends. While the original was a visual masterclass, a remaster titled Dragon's Crown Pro from 2023 took everything to another level, with 4K resolution, an improved online experience, and buttery smooth performance. There was some controversy in 2013 around the exaggerated character designs, particularly the Sorceress and Amazon, but that manufactured outrage has since died down, for the most part. So if you're in the mood for hacking, slashing, and bouncing, then you owe it to yourself to check out Dragon's Crown. I recently talked about my favorite Onee Chanbara game with Z2 Chaos, but Onee Chanbara Origin is a close second. It's a hack and slash game that offers a blend of fast-paced combat and over-the-top visuals. The narrative follows half-sisters Aya and Saki on a quest through a zombie-infested world, drenched in B-movie charm. It's campy, it's insane, and it's awesome. It reimagines the early entries in the series, but with a new art style, a more fleshed out story, and vastly refined gameplay. The cutscenes are stylized and the character designs are well, they're pretty awesome too. Though the more cartoony cel-shaded look of this entry over the past ones won't be everyone's cup of tea. However, the gameplay? Now that's another story. You control Aya, donning her now signature cowboy hat and bikini, as she battles through hordes of zombies and other monstrous creatures using her katana, chaining together beefy combos and reducing absolutely everything into bloody chunks. And I mean everything. Blood plays a big part in the story and gameplay, like how you have to reload your swords when they get covered in too much of the crimson liquid to prevent going dull. And when you get splattered in enough, you go into full bloodlust mode, letting you shred through enemies at the cost of your health. Onee Chanbara Origin is the latest game in the long-running Onee Chanbara series, but it's been 6 years. We need another game already. That being said, these games are still a ton of fun to go back to, and Onee Chanbara Origin is one of the best, delivering a stylized and frenetic hack-and-slash experience that is way better than it has any right to be.
Here it comes.
I've talked at length about my favorite game from 2024, Shift Up's Stellar Blade. And while that's their biggest game yet, it wasn't their first. They've had a handful of PC and mobile games that all have something in common. Exactly. Deep and nuanced storytelling. Now, if you dig their cultured approach and are open to gacha, Goddess of Victory Nikke is worth checking out. This third-person shooter RPG is set in a post-apocalyptic world, where humanity relies on artificial soldiers called Nikkes to combat alien invaders known as Raptures. The narrative depth, with various emotional storylines, demonstrates Shift Up's commitment to compelling storylines, and not just
ass, and teetus. Ass, teetus, ass, and teetus.
The visuals are really striking, with a lot of care given to each character's design. They're all distinct, but like they're all part of the same ragtag group. Wait, is her name Anus? A little on the nose, isn't it? Or ass?
Ass.
Gameplay-wise, Nikke offers a unique experience by combining third-person shooting mechanics with strategic elements. You control a squad of Nikkes, each equipped with different weapons, and must manage positioning and special abilities to succeed in combat. Things start out incredibly easy, with a lot of generous rewards, which are, of course, geared toward pulling you in. The gacha system is focused on acquiring new characters, and while the game provides ample opportunities for free pulls, it can be really stingy, meaning you can go quite a while without getting high rarity characters. If you're open to these types of mechanics and go in eyes wide open about the monetization strategies, Goddess of Victory Nikke stands out in a crowded field, with its engaging gameplay and, something else.
Ass, teetus, ass, and teetus. Ass, teetus, ass, and teetus.
Now, I wouldn't normally recommend a game in early access, but this one is something special. At first glance, the Killing Antidote may look like a million other hot girl games, but take a closer look. Okay, maybe not that close. But it starts to become clear that the game's more than just a pretty face. Clearly taking inspiration from recent Resident Evil games, with its over-the-shoulder perspective, zombie-infested halls, and core gameplay, but with the added benefit of dozens and dozens of skimpy outfits. Capcom should take note from the two-person development team at Metal Star Studio. You heard that right, 2 absolute chads developed this game.
You son of a bitch.
You play as Jody, a reporter, as you navigate the halls crawling with the undead, solving puzzles, picking up clues, and fighting for your life with a smorgasbord of melee and ranged weapons. As you explore, you'll also be picking up a whole wardrobe of new clothes. Puzzles are integral to the experience, requiring you to uncover clues, decipher passcodes, and locate keycards to progress. The combat feels incredible, with a lot of flexibility, like how you can throw your knives or head stomp downed enemies. Occasionally, cinematic kills highlight the brutality of takedowns, showcasing the game's attention to detail, and this ain't common for a 2-person development team. Enemies are varied from standard shambling zombies to spitters and big brutes, and the game looks great with cluttered halls, atmospheric lighting, and Jody herself. Mwah, chef's kiss. While you won't mistake this for a AAA game, it gets way closer than you'd expect. And that's not to mention the additional game modes beyond the campaign. Since it's in early access, you're essentially paying to play an incomplete game. But with the sheer quality on offer already, it's an easy one to recommend.
我可不要变成这样的怪物。
Next is a game series that embodies great gameplay wrapped in a fanservice heavy package. Recently, I covered a spin-off with Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. But the mainline games are just as rad. And my favorite, Senran Kagura Estival Versus, is a perfect example. Released in 2016 for the PS4 and Vita, and later for PC, Senran Kagura Estival Versus is the 5th installment in the series, developed by Tamsoft. At its core, it's a hack-and-slash game with a generous dose of fanservice. But don't let that fool you, there's depth here worth exploring. And surprisingly, there's a compelling story too. While it starts with schoolgirl shinobi battling in a tropical setting, it delves into themes of friendship, loss, and personal growth. Each character faces unique struggles, offering more than just surface-level fanservice. Though, the fast-paced gameplay is the real draw. It's a Musou-style game, reminiscent of Dynasty Warriors, where you mow down hordes of enemies leading up to challenging boss battles. The combo system is beefy, featuring light and heavy attacks, jumps, dashes, blocks, and special attacks. With over 25 characters, each with unique movesets and transformations, the combat remains engaging and varied. The game unabashedly embraces its fanservice elements, with detailed character customization, destructible clothing mechanics, and finishing moves, like this. Senran Kagura Estival Versus offers more than its cheeky exterior suggests. The gameplay is solid, the story is surprisingly engaging, and the fanservice is a cut above. If you're looking for a fun, high-energy action game, this might just be what you need.
一気に行くわよ。コフルちゃんみたいな子が一人で歩いていたら誘拐されちゃったりとか。はあ？あんたが言うな。
Moving on to Haydee, a little gem that's, hypnotic. While some may dismiss it as relying solely on sex appeal, it's way more than meets the eye, offering a blend of Metroidvania progression, combat, and puzzle solving, clearly drawing inspiration from Resident Evil with its emphasis on resource management and puzzle-like progression. You play as the cybernetically manufactured Haydee, and right off the bat, her design is... You're trying to escape the strange, futuristic complex, full of traps, puzzles, and enemies. And that's about it for the story. Don't expect more context or guidance. The focus is definitely on the gameplay and the overall atmosphere. It's going for a survival horror vibe, with a somber and melancholic soundtrack complementing the setting. You navigate a sprawling facility, collecting items, managing a limited inventory, and confronting enemies. The environments are all detailed, though some feel cramped, especially when surrounded by enemies that want to eat your, ass? The game's filled with puzzles, some that'll make you want to pull your hair out, and others that are fairly straightforward, having you do things like find key items to unlock doors. Combat is all about guns, without any melee options whatsoever, so running out of the sparse ammo can leave you vulnerable. There are 2 games in the series, with Haydee 2 making a lot of improvements over the original, including removing the clunky platforming, beefing up the weapon variety, and expanding on the world. While I recommend playing both, if you want a more polished experience, I'd go with Haydee 2. Even with any shortcomings, the Haydee games are great for fans of survival horror and big ass. Next is a game with one simple mission: dead or school. In a gaming landscape dominated by large corporations churning out cookie-cutter titles, it's refreshing to encounter a game crafted with genuine passion, and Dead or School exemplifies this indie spirit. Developed by the 3-person team at Studio Nanafushi, the game emerged despite a less than successful Indiegogo campaign, offering a unique experience that blends platforming, combat, and exploration. Set in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, humanity has retreated underground to escape a virus that
Turn the friggin' frogs gay!
No, but it does turn them into hideous mutants. After generations living underground, young Hisako dreams of returning to the surface after hearing tales of schools, a symbol of hope and normalcy. Donning her grandmother's old school uniform, she ventures above ground to realize her dream of attending school. The story's totally heartfelt, playing the admittedly outlandish story completely earnestly, and it keeps you rooting for Hisako throughout. It's a side-scrolling 2D platformer that combines tight controls with weighty combat. You navigate a variety of intricate environments, battling hordes of enemies and rescuing survivors. What sets Dead or School apart is the weapon system, which allows for deep customization across melee, ranged, and heavy weapons. Each weapon can be enhanced with various components and modifiers, catering to diverse playstyles. While the visuals are a bit of a mixed bag, it doesn't hurt the overall experience. Dead or School is a labor of love that stands out in the indie gaming scene. Its sincere storytelling, engaging combat, and deep customization options offer something totally unique. For those seeking a heartfelt and challenging adventure, Dead or School is worth exploring. Moving to Disorder, a game that's hot off the press, releasing just this year. Developed by the independent South Korean studio Grumpy. Wait, Grumpy? Doesn't sound Korean to me. And if you search for Grumpy Developer, be prepared to not find what you're looking for. But back to Disorder. Now it may look like Stellar Blade, with a badass female protagonist in a skin-tight bodysuit, fighting through tons of enemies in flashy, fast-paced combat. But where Stellar Blade is more of an action RPG with Souls-like elements, Disorder is a roguelike dungeon crawler. You assume the role of a young girl who's lost her memory and must uncover the truth of her past. So a totally original premise in gaming. But to its credit, as the narrative unfolds with each escape attempt, it delves deeper into themes of trauma and self-discovery. The game is set within a constantly changing department store that furthers the story and changes up the experiences for each playthrough. True to a roguelike, each death starts you over, but you'll use the gift desk to get stronger and gain new abilities for your next run. Since Grumpy is a smaller studio than Shift Up, and without the massive backing from Sony, you shouldn't expect this to have the same polish as Stellar Blade, but I still thought it was decent looking and the gameplay's a really good time. If you're looking for something that's flown totally under the radar for most, give Disorder a run. Game developers often play it safe, trying to appeal to the widest audience possible. Well, that ain't Suda51's style, and Shadows of the Damned is a great example. Shadows of the Damned is a 2011 action horror game developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, featuring the combined talents of Goichi Suda, also known as Suda51, Shinji Mikami, and composer Akira Yamaoka. You play as Garcia Hotspur, a Mexican demon hunter on a quest to rescue his girlfriend Paula from the demon lord Fleming, accompanied by his shape-shifting sidekick Johnson. It's a third-person shooter with a unique blend of horror and humor where you navigate through the underworld, battling demons using Johnson's various weapons, like the boner. Yeah. Darkness plays a big role in the game, requiring you to manage light sources to weaken enemies and solve puzzles. The art style is totally distinct, combining gothic and grindhouse elements, creating a vivid and dreamlike atmosphere. Yamaoka's soundtrack enhances the experience with a mix of haunting and punk-inspired tracks. The dialogue is filled with crude humor and pop culture references, contributing to its unique charm that feels particularly refreshing these days.
Johnson, what the hell is that thing?
Holy cow! I don't believe it! Willie! That's One-Eyed William!
While the game received praise for its creativity and style, it faced criticism for clunky controls and technical issues, but has developed a cult following over the years. In 2024, Shadows of the Damned Hello Remastered was released, and while it made some improvements to the visuals and performance, as well as the addition of New Game Plus, The biggest benefit is that the game is finally playable on modern hardware. So if you haven't had a chance to play this Suda51 fever dream, there's never been a better time to check it out.
Before you die, demon scum, I will carve my name in your flesh. That name is Garcia Hotspur, hunter of demons and slayer of pendejos like you.
When you think about awesome boomer shooters, you probably don't think of them coming from Japan, but sometimes the best things come from the most unexpected places. Take, for example, the Citadel, developed by Doe Kuramori in 2020, clearly drawing inspiration from classics like Doom, Wolfenstein 3D, and Marathon, but mixed with aesthetics and the story that takes cues from manga and anime series like Blame, Heavy Metal, and Ian Flux. It's fast, brutal, and packed with waifus. What's not to like? In a dystopian future where the planet has ceased rotating, threatening all-out global extinction, you assume the role of the martyr. As one of the last unmechanized humans, you embark on a blood-soaked mission to set things right. The level design is rad, with intricate maze-like environments that encourage thorough exploration. You're agile, able to double jump and mantle obstacles, helping you to get around and making combat a freaking blast. Your arsenal is diverse and satisfying. Each weapon has standard and alternate fire modes, like how the battle rifle can discharge bullet sprays or energy beams. All weapons are projectile-based, allowing you to see and dodge incoming shots. And this design choice emphasizes skillful aiming and movement, especially during boss battles that incorporate bullet hell elements. Enemies explode into bloody chunks, which is never not satisfying. Now you can disable gore in the menus, but seriously?
Stop it. Get some help.
The Citadel is a testament to the evolving landscape of Japanese game development, blending classic shooter mechanics with a visual style all its own. It's a challenging and rewarding experience that pays tribute to its inspirations while carving out its own identity. A few of the games on this list added fan service to the foundation established by Resident Evil. But the last game on our list comes from another iconic survival horror franchise that added fan service to itself. Fatal Frame stood out ever since its introduction during the PS2 era for its unique gameplay style. Instead of running away from enemies or using guns, you use the camera obscura for combat, a device that hurts and eventually captures spirits through photography, forcing you to face the very horrors out to get you. In 2014, the fifth mainline entry, Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater, was released exclusively for the Wii U, limiting its audience due to the console's limited popularity. However, with its remaster, the game is now accessible on pretty much everything, offering enhanced graphics and improved controls, making it more appealing to a broader audience. Set on the fictional Mount Hikami, you play as three protagonists, Yuri, Ren, and Miyu, as they investigate supernatural occurrences linked to the deaths of shrine maidens on the mountain. The combat isn't like any other game, with a focus on framing, timing, and using the best camera equipment like film and lenses for each spirit. You can upgrade the camera obscura using points earned at the end of each chapter to enhance combat abilities, like increased damage or faster loading. The remaster's visuals are impressive, with breathtaking art design showcasing haunting Japanese landscapes and detailed character models. In terms of horror, Maiden of Blackwater leans more towards a melancholic and unsettling atmosphere, rather than outright terror. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is a solid remaster of a unique horror experience. The atmosphere and innovative camera-based gameplay are unlike anything else. For anyone into slower-paced, melancholic horror, Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater is worth exploring. Well, there you have it. 15 perfect fan service games with great gameplay. What game did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit like and of course subscribe. And if you want even more fan service games that are a blast to play, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.